Following his victory in Egypt, Julius Caesar's next challenge arose in the eastern provinces of the Roman Republic, where a former adversary, King Pharnaces II of Pontus, was threatening Roman-controlled territories. The son of the infamous Mithridates VI, Pharnaces sought to reclaim his father's kingdom and exploit Rome's civil war to his advantage. After swiftly consolidating control over Pontus and parts of Armenia, Pharnaces posed a significant threat to Roman rule in the region. Caesar, determined to prevent the rise of another formidable enemy, swiftly marched his army from Alexandria to confront Pharnaces in modern-day Turkey, culminating in the famous Battle of Zela. Pharnaces had taken advantage of the chaos in the Roman world as Caesar battled Pompey and his supporters across the Mediterranean. With Caesar focused on his campaigns in Greece and Egypt, Pharnaces saw an opportunity to extend his dominion in the east. He seized the strategic Roman provinces of Pontus and Armenia Minor, defeating a Roman garrison at Nicopolis. Roman control of the region appeared to be slipping, and Pharnaces declared himself the rightful ruler of the territories his father had once ruled. His ambition was bold, but it would soon bring him face to face with Caesar's military genius. Upon hearing of Pharnaces' advances, Caesar wasted no time in addressing the situation. With Pompey defeated and Cleopatra's throne secured in Egypt, he saw the eastern threat as his next priority. Although tired from previous campaigns, Caesar's legions remained disciplined and battle-hardened. He gathered a small but elite force and made his way to the region of Pontus, determined to crush Pharnaces before he could further expand his influence. The rapid pace at which Caesar moved took Pharnaces by surprise, and it would ultimately be one of the key factors that led to his downfall. In early August 47 BCE, the two forces met near the town of Zela, not far from where Mithridates had once fought the Romans. The location held symbolic importance for Pharnaces, who believed he could emulate his father's victories. However, Caesar was no ordinary Roman general. Despite the limited size of his force, Caesar had confidence in the discipline and experience of his legions. Pharnaces, for his part, commanded a larger force, bolstered by Scythian cavalry and local mercenaries. He believed his superior numbers and familiarity with the terrain would give him the upper hand. Pharnaces' troops occupied a strong defensive position on a hill, which he hoped would make it difficult for Caesar to launch a successful attack. Pharnaces, believing he had the advantage, prepared for a defensive battle. His army was entrenched on high ground, and he expected Caesar to either hesitate or be forced into a difficult uphill assault. However, Caesar, always one to take the initiative, was determined to dictate the terms of the engagement. He refused to let Pharnaces control the tempo of the battle. Rather than wait for a prolonged siege or reconnaissance, Caesar boldly ordered his troops to engage Pharnaces' forces immediately. His confidence in the discipline and capability of his legions allowed him to take such risks, and this aggressive strategy would soon pay dividends. The battle began swiftly and with great intensity. Caesar's legions, despite being outnumbered, advanced up the hill with precision. The Roman infantry, well-drilled and battle-hardened from years of campaigns, showed their discipline as they climbed toward the enemy positions. Pharnaces, caught off guard by Caesar's rapid approach, ordered his troops to mount a counterattack. His Scythian cavalry and mercenaries charged down the hill, hoping to break the Roman advance. But Caesar's legions held firm, using their superior training and close formation to absorb the shock of the initial attack. The clash between the Roman infantry and Pharnaces' cavalry was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy casualties in the opening moments of the battle. The hill made maneuvering difficult, but Caesar's soldiers, experienced in fighting in difficult terrain, used their shields and spears to great effect, pushing back Pharnaces' cavalry. The tide of the battle began to turn in Caesar's favour as his legions gained ground, inching their way up the hill and forcing Pharnaces' troops back toward their defensive positions. Pharnaces, realizing that his cavalry was unable to break the Roman lines, attempted to rally his infantry. His forces, which included a mix of local levies and seasoned veterans, were soon locked in brutal hand-to-hand combat with Caesar's legions. Despite their numerical superiority, Pharnaces' troops struggled to match the discipline and tactical coordination of the Roman soldiers. Caesar's troops, fighting in tight formations, steadily pushed the enemy back, methodically advancing despite the difficult terrain. The Roman skill with their gladi, short swords, allowed them to inflict heavy losses on Pharnaces' infantry, who were poorly equipped to deal with the close-quarters fighting. As the battle wore on, Caesar's superior command became increasingly evident. His ability to adapt to the changing dynamics of the battlefield, combined with his relentless drive to seize the initiative, placed immense pressure on Pharnaces. The king, who had hoped to repeat his father's success against the Romans, found himself facing a far more capable and determined adversary than he had anticipated. Caesar's bold decision to engage Pharnaces head-on, rather than wait for reinforcements or more favourable conditions, caught the Pontic king off guard and forced him into a defensive position from which he could not recover. As the day wore on, Pharnaces' army began to crumble under the relentless Roman assault. Caesar's legions, having fought uphill and through waves of enemy attacks, finally broke through the enemy lines. Pharnaces, realizing that his position was untenable, attempted to retreat with the remnants of his forces. However, the Roman cavalry pursued the fleeing soldiers, cutting down many as they attempted to escape. Pharnaces himself managed to flee the battlefield, but would later be killed in another skirmish while attempting to regroup his forces in the eastern provinces. The battle was over almost as quickly as it had begun. In a matter of hours, Caesar had decisively defeated Pharnaces, securing a swift and overwhelming victory. The speed and efficiency of Caesar's campaign led to his famous comment, "Veni, Vidi, Vici." I came, I saw, I conquered. This simple yet profound statement encapsulated the ease with which Caesar had overcome what many believed to be a formidable opponent. The victory at Zela was a testament to Caesar's military genius, his ability to strike quickly and decisively, and his refusal to let his enemies dictate the terms of battle. The consequences of the Battle of Zela were significant for both Caesar and the Roman Republic. With Pharnaces defeated, Caesar secured Roman control over the eastern provinces and eliminated a potential threat to his rule. The victory further enhanced his reputation as an invincible general, capable of defeating enemies quickly and efficiently, even when outnumbered. It also sent a clear message to any other potential challengers that Caesar's dominance over the Roman world was not to be questioned. His ability to achieve such a swift and complete victory cemented his legacy as one of history's greatest military commanders. For Pharnaces, the battle marked the end of his ambitions to restore the kingdom of Pontus. His defeat at Zela ensured that the region would remain firmly under Roman control, and his death in the aftermath of the battle extinguished any hope of a Mithridatic resurgence. The battle also highlighted the futility of opposing Caesar, whose strategic brilliance and willingness to act decisively had once again proven to be a winning formula on the battlefield. The Battle of Zela was not the largest or bloodiest battle of Caesar's career, but it was one of the most significant in terms of the speed and decisiveness with which it was won. Caesar's victory further solidified his control over the Roman Republic and demonstrated his ability to handle multiple threats on different fronts. While the battle is often remembered for the famous phrase "Veni, Vidi, Vici," it was also a clear example of Caesar's tactical acumen and his ability to inspire and lead his legions to victory under challenging circumstances. With the defeat of Pharnaces, Caesar could now turn his attention back to the ongoing political struggles in Rome. The civil war was not yet over, and although Caesar had secured victories on multiple fronts, he knew that there were still enemies to be defeated and challenges to overcome. But for now, at least, the threat from the east had been neutralized, and Caesar could once again claim to have saved the Republic from an external enemy.